I mean, it's not a bad spend of 37 million quid, is it? And the goals he scores as well. When you look at the goal against Everton, the goal against City, the volley he got against Stoke, he scores some corkers.
The goal today was a lovely goal, wasn't it? He didn't have his best game today. He wasn't involved a lot, but his control and his awareness in the box to have a touch before smashing it into the net.
Player of the season, though?
Yeah, well, he's up there, of course. I always go for Kevin De Bruyne. Only because he's just got the cherry on the top, isn't he? He's already won the League Cup and he's going to win the Premier League. But I mean, it's a toss-up between him and Mo Salah, isn't it? Because Mo Salah keeps on scoring more and more goals. The fact that he's got 37 in his first year is incredible, isn't it?
There's a stat somewhere. He's missed more chances than anybody else as well, which is quite remarkable. But for me, I'm in agreement there with Maka. De Bruyne is the way that he sort of caresses the ball, and he ticks all the boxes. He's running after people. He's making tackles. He is the one. He's the governor in that team for me. He makes it tick. I know Silva. A lot of people like Silva, but I feel De Bruyne is just that little bit ahead of him, and I think therefore he should get the PFA Player of the Year.
I don't think anyone can argue for either or. I think if De Bruyne wins it, you're happy. If Mo Salah wins it, you're happy. I just think they're two different players. Mo Salah is a game changer. Wins games on his own, really. And De Bruyne, as the boy said, is just so pleasing on the eye, and he's one that makes his team tick. He's the guy who controls the pace of the game along with David Silva. But I'll take either. Earlier in the season, I'd have said De Bruyne, but I think the more you look at it now, Salah's he's winning games really on his own.
It's going to be fascinating, isn't it, watching those two go toe-to-toe in the Champions League? Oh,
it's a crazy draw. I mean, it's this two of the best teams in the country going toe-to-toe in the Champions League. I would have liked to have seen them stick apart maybe to get and hopefully get two teams through to the semis. But
this just means that we get an absolutely corking game with the two most exciting teams in English football.
The rest of Europe was delighted, put it that way, because they know the attacking forces that both these teams have. I mean, Mane and Salah, their pace. I mean, Mane, when he was injured at the end of last season, Liverpool weren't the same team. Now they've got two of them with that kind of pace. Firmino in there, Van Dijk coming in as well. I mean, that might be a significant signing by the end of the season. And we said earlier that, you know, this happened, I remember Chelsea in 2004 when Arsenal went unbeaten. We put Chelsea, who put us out of the Champions League, we locked them out of every single cup competition, League Cup, FA Cup. We just knew eventually it might go wrong, and they won't want to lose this to Liverpool because the bragging rights, you know, we're talking here about them being the greatest team we've ever seen, and suddenly they get knocked out of the Champions League. Well, they're certainly not going to be the greatest team. So there's a lot on this match for lots of different reasons.
Can't wait for it. You'll be commentating on it, won't you?
Yes, I will, yes. I'll be at Juventus Real Madrid on the Tuesday night, so I'm lucky enough to go over to Turin. And then, weather permitting and all the planes being on time, I'll be back at Anfield.
You're trying to make people feel better about their lives, eh? Unbelievable. What a life.
He should love it. How lucky is he to go to those games?
Sitting in first class, it's awful. I'm joking.
He's not joking.
I'm only going.
You know, and for an average player as well.
Two Champions Leagues.
Didn't do bad, the boy, did he? Man of the match in a Champions League final, but he doesn't like to talk about that. Today, the job of Liverpool's was to try and get past Crystal Palace. There was a moment of controversy in the game. We will speak to Graham Poll in a moment, but first, here's a couple of Palace fans.
For me, the real talking point from the match has got to be the decision not to send off Sadio Mane. It's a clear yellow card, deliberate handball. That's the rule book. Why doesn't he get it? Because he plays for Liverpool. That's the basic answer. Not acceptable. Gutted.
Swarbrick has had an absolute mare. How he's not sending Mane off there for a second yellow. Deliberate handball is the most black and white rule in the book, and he's let him get away with it. It's an outrage.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, please.
It's an outrage. He's saying that that's not my words. That's his words. He's saying it absolutely should have been a red card. Steve Parish also says, talk me through how that is not a second yellow card and subsequently a red card. So thankfully we've got Graham Poll as part of our team. Right, first of all, Graham, situation here and what goes through a referee's mind when they see this?
It's not mandatory to caution a player for handball. Handball is an offence, punishable by a direct free kick, and you have to look at the context where the handball is made. So people saying it's black and white, it's mandatory, it's not. They don't know laws of the game. Neil Swarbrick does.
Okay, so what determines giving him a red card and not?
Right, Sadio Mane thought he'd been fouled. He went down and claimed the ball to make Swarbrick give him the free kick. He wasn't fouled. Swarbrick didn't think he was, and therefore, of course, he's touched the ball with his hand. Swarbrick looks at that and says, what's his intention there? He's trying to convince me he's been fouled. He's handled it. and therefore it's just a free kick. If he hadn't thought he'd been fouled and he handled it to stop the ball going to a Palace player in a very good position, then he would be right to caution him. He didn't think so.
OK, so the right decision?
Absolutely, definitely. And you add to that, the first caution was a bit weak as well on Mane. For he said a dive, there was contact there. And you add the two together and it definitely doesn't make it a red card.
OK, I'm just scrolling through social media now. I'm not sure the football world agrees with you in terms of the fans. But
yeah, but I'm right.
No, he's a referee.
changed,
Isn't he? I think a lot of people, and me included, just think, oh, it's a handball, it's a yellow card, it's a deliberate handball, it's a yellow card. And it's good the fact that the referee knows more than we do. Of course he does.
To interpretation, though, the referee.
The only thing I would have said
is,
was, why aren't the Crystal Palace complaining about the centre forward that they spent all the money on just lobbing over the goalkeeper, putting it wide? It's always somebody else's fault.
Of course it is. Graham, thank you very much.
Get people going.
Oh yes, it will. Right, we're just going to take a quick break, and during the break, you're going to see some of the brilliant work that the